Hello, welcome to another shitty tutorial on animation, pixel animation. Again, using Piskel as always, and I realized I didn't really do a tutorial on the tools that are available with Piskel. So I'm just going to go over everything that I know of at the moment. If I learn anything new, then I'll try to add it into a different video. So first, let's just go from left to right, top to bottom. So first you have the pen tool. The pen tool can click or drag depending on what you want. And if you click, it places a pixel. If you drag, it drag places a pixel, like you're drawing with a pencil or a pen. And then there's two ways to draw. You can use the left click and the right click. This applies for most of the tools. So here you have your primary and your secondary. It says here left mouse button, right mouse button. And depending on your colors, you can swap them. So if I make the secondary red and the primary black, then when I left click, I place black, and when I right click, I place red. However, if it's empty, then if the secondary is empty, then your left click will be to place and your right click will be to erase. This is how I have it most of the time because I just find it easier to have the erase on the mouse instead of using the erase tool, which I will get to later. Tool number 2 is the vertical mirror pen. This will draw on the opposite side of where you're drawing right now, and it will draw through this split halfway across the screen. If it is a uneven number of pixels long, then it will go on either side like this. However, as you can see, it's an even number of pixels, so it will just draw perfectly down the middle. Next is the paint bucket tool, pretty basic, just like every single paint bucket tool. When you click, it paints it that color. Next is the paint all pixels the same color tool. Unlike the paint bucket tool, which will only paint the part that you click on, the paint all pixels will paint every single pixel of the same color into the color you picked. Next is the eraser tool. When you click, it erases. There's nothing that it does with the right click. However, as I said before, I much prefer to just use the right click to erase, but it's all up to preference. Next is the stroke tool, by far my favorite tool. When you click, it acts as a normal pen. However, when you click and drag, it makes a straight line to wherever you release. So if I click from this corner to this corner and then release, it draws a line there. And then if I click from this corner to this corner and release, draws a line there. And then it works the same for the right click, which allows for easy drawing and easy erasure. Next is the rectangle tool. The rectangle tool has its moments where it's not perfectly accurate. Like it's really nice if you're doing 1 pixel, but if you're doing like 4 pixels, then what it does is instead of going from the highlighted area, it goes from the edge of where you clicked like this, and then it draws out from there. So if you click from this edge, so if you line up the highlighted area like this, instead of actually drawing where it highlights, it draws where you clicked. It's really weird and it's difficult to get used to, but if you're using a normal, if you're using a 1 pixel wide brush tool, then it's perfectly fine and it works exactly as is shown. Next is the circle tool. It works the same as this rectangle tool and it has the same problems. The only difference is that it's a circle. Next is the move tool. What it does is wherever you click, no matter where you click, it moves the pixels along with your cursor. So if I want to move this cube from this corner down to this corner, instead of erasing and redrawing it, I can just click and drag it down to this corner. Next is the shape selection tool. It selects the shape that you click on. So if, here, hold on. Next is the shape selection tool. It selects the shape whenever you right click or left click. Well, the left click just selects it, but it's much more difficult. It's better to just right click so you can left click on something else. But as you can see, it selects the entire area of that color. So if I select this, then it highlights that. If I select this, it highlights that. And now it doesn't actually move the object, it just makes a highlight of it. So you can copy it and paste it, an exact copy. However, it will not select the same color. Yeah, I don't think you can. Can you shift click? Nope. If you want to select more than one color, then you're going to have to use the next tool, the rectangle selection tool. The rectangle selection tool will select a bunch of every single pixel in this rectangle. It works the same as the rectangle tool, except it highlights everything in between. So you can copy, you can paste, and you can delete inside of it. Next is the lasso selection. It works the same as the rectangle selection, except you draw out the area you want to select. Kind of like most lasso tools. Next is the lightening and darkening tool. When you left click, it lightens. When you right click, well, when you right click, it lightens. When you left click, it also lightens. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, you got a control. So when you click, it lightens. When you control click, it darkens. And when you shift click, oh, let me just. When you shift click, it only lightens once. So if you don't shift click, you can lighten the squares multiple times. But if you shift click, you can only lighten it once. No matter how many times you go over it, it'll only lighten each pixel once. Next is the dithering tool. I have no idea how it's pronounced, but it makes like a pattern. It's a checkerboard pattern. I have no idea what you would use it for, but yeah. If you overlap it, it draws over itself. I don't know. It's kind of weird, you know. It's I don't fully understand how to use it or why you would use it, but it's there. And then last tool on the sidebar is the color picker. So as you can see, I'm coloring this black color now. However, if I select the color picker and then click the red one, I will be drawing the red color. So if you don't know exactly what color it is, then you can click it in order to get the exact color you want. Now up here you have your pen size, and this applies to all pens. So if you have your pen size to 1, it draws 1, 2, draws 2, 3, it draws 3, and then 4, which is the maximum, it draws 4. Next, you have your frames up here. You have duplicate this frame, add new frame, and toggle for preview. If you click off the toggle for preview, it will still exist, but in the preview up here, it won't show. If you click duplicate, it duplicates, and if you click new, it adds a new one. So as you can see, I hit it, so now it doesn't appear. Now it appears, and now I hide this one, and now it's just that still frame, because it's cutting out the frame in the middle. So if we have these two, cut out that, cut out that, cut out that. Over here you have your onion skin. This makes it so you're able to see the different frames for other slides that are next to it. So as you can see here, I drew this square here for this one, this square here for this one, and you can see both this frame and this frame. And if you turn that off, you can't. And then the same goes for layers. If I draw this cube here, and then I go back, I can see these two, which are frame 1 and frame 3. And then if I turn it off, I can see layer 2. But if I turn off preview all layers, I can only see the ones for this layer. These are the create layer, which creates a layer, move up, which moves the layer up in the hierarchy, move down, which moves the layer down in the hierarchy, edit layer name, which edits the layer name, merge with layer below, which merges it with the layer below it. It keeps the name of the layer above, and then delete selected layer, which deletes the layer. You cannot delete a layer if there isn't a new one. So if you want to delete all of them, then you have to create a new one so you can delete everyone before that. This is the layer opacity button. It has a drop down here, and you can set the value between 1 and 2. So if you put 0.75 and then you draw, you can see that there is a 0.75 value on the preview. It doesn't change what is currently available on the screen. It only changes what's in the preview. So if you set this to 1, it goes back to normal. If you set it to 0, it just doesn't appear. Kind of like you turned off the toggle, if you turned off toggle for preview. So much talking, Jesus Christ. Next is the flip horizontally. Place, click, it flips. Next is the counterclockwise rotation. It rotates. Clone to all layers. Well, no. Clone to layer to all frames. So if you see here, these two are empty, and then I click this, now these two are full of the exact same frame. Align images to the center, puts it in the center. Here are the color palettes. I don't use it. However, you can create your own palette here with this color picker, or you can see your current colors, which are all the colors that are currently on screen. You can select them using your number pad, 1, 2, 3, up to 9. Once you get past 9, you aren't able to select it, and you have to come over and click. Here are your preferences. You could just change your preferences for how it works. Here is your resize. It resizes the canvas of your pixel art. Here is the save. You can save it as a new pixel file. It won't work as a picture. However, if you save it as a Piskel file, you can then use the import tab to import the Piskel file and continue working on it. Here's your exports. You can export your current project as a GIF, a PNG, a zip file, or others. Download C file. I don't know what that is, but it's available. Here you can see that you can load a local Piskel saved in this browser. You can load a .piskel from your computer. You can import from picture. Import my profile picture. Import. This will replace your current animation. Continue. And now I have a picture of my profile picture. Oh my god, look. This is a hell to go through. Just look at all those different colors. However, if you don't want all those different colors, you turn off the smooth resize. Son of a bitch. Let me just well, I guess it still does that, but you get the gist. It's not quite as smooth. And then you have your browse backups. You can browse backups of previous sessions with the Piskel app. Down in the bottom corner, it shows you which pixel of the frame you are currently on, the aspect ratio of it. Yeah. So if I go here and I turn this to 32 by turn off maintain aspect ratio 32. You can see that it's 32 by 32. Maintain aspect ratio means that you can either change them independent. So you can make this one 33 while the other one's 32, or you can make them consistent, which means that if you turn this one to 35, it'll turn the other one to 36 because this one was one above the other. This is the default size. This is going to be the default for every time you enter the Piskel app. I don't change it. I just change the settings based on what I want for that time. This is your frames per second. This is how fast the animation plays. So as you can see here, if I make, let's make here, let's just boop, and then it goes over here. All right. Now you can see if I go to 5 frames per second, it shows 5 frames per second.